ahead. Well, you need to hear Leandra Johnson sing that shit.
You know what? See, this is how we start the No Foreplay show.
We back.
We back.
Singing Calvary.
We on the air right now.
On Resurrection Sunday.
We are on the air. We back.
We back.
We resurrected.
Yes, we are.
Resurrected.
Yes, we are. My
Resurrected.
pastor said, y'all got a little resurrection power inside of you. Y'all got a little resurrection power inside of you.
Oh, man.
When they roll back the stone.
Tell them the dirt they buried you with. Tell them it was only soil because you are a seed.
You know
when
what?
you sprout up anew.
I feel like Fresh is reading the script right
I'm
now.
not.
I know.
I'm looking at my account that's not looking good right now.
That's why you're talking about resurrect these
Resurrection.
funds.
Yes,
Resurrect
right.
the funds,
Just
Lord.
touch the hem of my account.
Man, I hope
the
they
last 4 digits, Jesus.
Man, I hope they bury in my account. Some soil.
Resurrect these funds.
Man,
I feel a certain way that I paid rent this morning on Easter.
yeah, that's all bad.
My grandma told me that pay some bills timely, so I pay rent on time. But I definitely was like, I just paid this on the second out of principle.
No, you got to think about it. They put Easter, April Fool's Day, and rent due on the same day. What's the odds of that?
Yeah, whoever runs for president next, whoever wins next, just instead of some of these tax breaks y'all putting in, just put a tax break in for landlords that force them to give people 1 month free rent a year. That would go so far. That would go so far. That would go so far. So far.
The tricking that will go down.
Dude.
1 month free rent, and to make President's Day the day after the Super Bowl. I don't know why we just don't make this official. The most common sense law change of all the laws that could be changed.
The Monday after the Super Bowl should
be a holiday.
Should be a holiday, any way you want to put it. I mean, you gave famous people holidays, and we got days off for it. The Super Bowl has done enough for all mankind.
It has.
That it deserves a 2-day. It should be a 2-day event. Monday's off.
Oh, man.
Super Monday.
We all go to hibachi for lunch. Sorry. I want hibachi.
I mean, okay. I haven't had hibachi in a while. I want it to. It's just life.
I didn't even know no date shit. I just want hibachi for myself.
Yeah. But we back. We back.
We are.
I'm not gonna say we back again because people just be, people fed up. But it's cool. Y'all can be fed up. We out here. So
I was gonna say their name, but I ain't gonna say real name.
No. We don't have to say nobody's name because it's quite a few people. Actually,
no, it is quite a few people. I got threatened to get kicked out of somebody's top 5. I didn't even know what the fucking top 5 was.
What's the top 5?
I guess it was her top 5 podcast.
Top 5 podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought she had T-Mobile.
I thought she had T-Mobile too. Friends and family, some shit. Your nights don't start at 7, baby.
You know what? Okay. So let's do this. We got a lot of topics people need to hear our voice on. People need. I've been watching people be out here just wayward, all the way wayward with some of these topics, and too many voices. Like we an authoritative voice for a lot of shit.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? We come in, bring voice of reason, logic, life experience. We got a good melting pot of that shit. Even though people be like, well, y'all are similar. I hear you, but that's if y'all saw how much we argue, the difference.
Oh my God,
much shit like every day. So
I tell people all the time, me and Dion friendship honestly are built on our differences. They think we agree a lot, but we really don't.
Man. And me and Dion always argue. And I don't understand, me and Dion really figured this out the other day. Like, we argue for 30 minutes about something that could have been done 30 seconds. Like, it didn't take, we were really saying the same thing, but we was arguing different ways to get to the same place.
That's true.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
But that's the beauty of it, though. That's the beauty of it. The funny shit about Ann saying our shit is built on differences is because, the funny shit, but people want to talk to us about the shit that we agree on, though. People be like, well, what about these hoes? And we be like, well, we agree on that. Right. Agreed. Bring up something different, we may not agree on. World peace.
Honestly, truly, I think lack of a better word, like women / hoes, our theories. That's probably the only thing we're consistent on.
Yeah.
It's been arguments all the time.
Yeah. All the time. Not even close.
Hey man, hold your mic up to your mouth like a pastor.
I'm sorry. Well, I got this suit on today.
He got this long in the tooth tie.
Long in the tooth.
You can't stump my shine right now.
Man, we know that was your great Uncle Jebediah's tie, boy.
No. Honestly, the funny shit is that's a nice tie.
No, it is.
I would definitely wear the fuck out of that tie, but I just had to use longer than tooth. I seen it on TV. I said that's a good little joke.
It's perfect timing right here.
It's all about perfect timing with the jokes.
Yeah. A lot of comedians don't have timing. Speaking of comedians and timing. It was quite funny. Hannibal Buress.
Oh, my God.
Hannibal Buress.
Oh, my God.
Hannibal Buress took the stage at Loyola. And was funny, this shit wasn't even, it just popped up. Hannibal Buress took the stage at Loyola. And he was, they gave him a list of rules to abide by. Which is, it's weird, like when Catholics give you rules. All the shit the Catholics have done in the history of the world. When they give you rules, as a nigga, you say, I'm going to take your money, I'm going to break these rules. Right.
I mean, because pure point blank, they know they're a walking target. They know
exactly
these jokes are going to fly about us, and it's going to be the easiest jokes of all time. Right. So they give them stuff like, hey, no talking about priests raping little boys and molestation and none of that. Right. No, what? What you think I came here for?
They also told him no hanging out with students, no fraternizing with students. And he was like, and it was funny because he was like, did somebody fuck a student? And somebody yelled out, he was like, it was Trevor Noah. It was
oh shit!
I was like, yo, that shit's so crazy, man.
I just don't understand why they thought the guy who outed Bill Cosby publicly over his indiscretions was going to say, the Catholic school is that's the line I'm not going to cross.
Right.
Listen, we are not about, and this is black people, we are not about just forsaking other blacks. As you can see how long we held on to OJ.
Yes.
Man.
So listen, y'all can get it any day of the week.
Get it
easily.
Get it
easily.
And the shit that threw me off, I was sitting there like, yo, like these people, the weird shit. First off, Catholics, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you some game here.
Here's the shit.
Here's the shit. Because the Catholics have ran lots of games, but it's one game that y'all have not mastered. See, y'all paid up front in full. When you pay up front in full,
yep.
And then you give me rules. Oh yeah, it's over.
Now I got an easy day at work. I'm leaving. I'm leaving early.
You can't pay us at the beginning of the day for work to be done at the end of the day. Never.
If I talk about Sister, what's the lady name?
Sister Jean.
If I talk about Sister Jean, then I get to go home early. Oh man,
bro, they really got all the way on that with him. Like they cut his mic instantly. Right. Instantly. Then he said, all right, I don't need no mic. He's still trying to tell jokes. And they turned up the background music. Like, no, nigga, you are not finna be no kind of way of flourishing on this here stage.
The interesting part about Hannibal, I was reading brother Dick Gregory book. And he brought up Lenny Bruce. And he's like, that's the shit that Lenny Bruce used to do. He said Lenny Bruce one time went to go perform over in England, and they told him, no jokes, don't mention the Queen. They said Lenny Bruce got on the mic, and the first joke he told, and they also told Lenny Bruce, we will beat you on stage. And they said Lenny Bruce got on stage, and the first thing he said was, did y'all hear that the Queen gave the Prime Minister the clap? And they beat him on stage.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, shit. Like, Lenny Bruce was a G. But, I mean.
You on your way, man. You the next Lenny Bruce, man. You on your way, man.
Right.
You on your way, man. You the next Lenny Bruce, man. What the fuck? Man, ain't no way, bro. I'm looking up fucking Lenny Bruce.
Right, now you looking up Lenny
I gotta
Bruce.
see how he even look, bro. He look like he supposed to get whooped. He like a jerk.
Lenny Bruce is in the dictionary next to jerk.
They probably whacked him. They said the controversial nightclub comedian was found dead. Like he got whacked.
Listen. But you know what, man? Shout out to Loyola. Loyola definitely. They made a nice little run. The run came to an end. Mm-hmm. I'll say this: for Loyola to go that far, and just the way college basketball is set up now, that was big, man. Because teams like Loyola, you don't get the 5-star recruits. They probably don't even got a 4-star on the roster. They probably all three, and they was kicking some of these dudes who's supposed to go to the league ass. I saw it.
Yeah, the thing with that is a coach gonna show loyalty because he's gonna be sought after. Same thing happened with us with Bruce Weber.
Right.
He took the Salukis on a run. He was gone. Same thing with Matt Painter. Matt Painter's still at Purdue.
Right.
So now we just gonna see what happened with the head coach, man, because the people are gonna come calling. You take a scrappy bunch from the MVC to the Final Four. Yeah,
definitely gonna be at his doorstep. It was cool. It was good to see just on some. No, like I said, no NBA stars on the Loyola team, so nobody had an agenda outside of. Let's try to get to the championship, and that shit it was real dope. Like, I mean, legit, with 10 minutes left in the game, we all was sitting there like, yo, like Loyola's about to play in the championship game.
Yeah.
Until Mo Wagner got on that.
Yeah.
And Charles Matthews, shout out to Chicago Product, St. Rita High. Yeah, and the rest of the team finally followed their lead from Michigan, but hell of a run by Loyola. It didn't look fluky. That was a legit run.
Well, championship game is tonight. I will not be watching. I'm pretty sure it'll be a great game.
Why not?
I just listen, man. I've taken a stance against the NCAA. I'm trying not to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Same way people felt about Cap. I just got too much going on, like with the way I feel about the NCAA. They published all these boys' names for taking money. I felt the way about that. I was like, damn, these niggas really broke. Like, they really broke, man. Broke, starving, and gangbanging.
All of that. All of that. It ain't no way you gonna tell me my broke ass, fresh out of high school, here go $100K, and I'm gonna turn it down. I'm taking the bag.
I'm gonna tell, if your daddy take the bag for the $1 million house, guess what? Like, I think what's interesting is that a lot of times I think it's hard for mid-America to get past that these guys are really in destitute situations. Mm-hmm. And you see that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. And the crazy part is none of this is new. Like, even when they go back to where people grew up from, I think people are always surprised. Like, wait, he lived here? And you be like, yes.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Like, yes, he lived here. And they did that, even though Lenny Cook never made it. I never forget they went to Lenny Cook's old house in the documentary, and Lenny Cook lived in like this house. It looked so destitute, and he was like, "Yo, it was 8 people living here before some random white woman moved him his friends there because he could play basketball." But
friends of the program,
right? But if that opportunity don't come and these people say, we're going to give your family a house and you could get the hell up out of Brooklyn, Harlem, wherever you at, the low end, you taking that as a black man. You taking that.
All day.
All day.
It's amazing how certain people just expect broke people to stay broke and just be cool with being broke.
Content.
Right.
Content with brokenness. Like, that shit amazes the fuck out of me. Especially while everybody, like, these kids are coming from these situations like you just described, and they're going to these college campuses. So some of them, they first time where they have, like, they know they're going to have stable meals 3 times a day because of the meal plan.
Jack.
And they see everybody else around them eating.
Right.
Eating. And, white America throws their hands up in the air because, these kids took a kickback. Like, who wants to be content? Like, how can you see a 19-year-old in college and he know back at home his mother, sister, brother are living with their uncles and aunties in Big Ma house, and Big Ma house is really a 3-bedroom apartment.
Right. Exactly.
And 3-bedroom Section 8 apartment.
Section 8. And you know how it is when you when you play sports, the whole goal is to get your family out there. So you looking at that first bag of money is just the first step in getting us up out of the hood. So I'm gonna take this $100,000 and I'm gonna go do what I'm supposed to do with it. We've been struggling too long.
The funny part about it is everybody now acting like surprised and oh my God, like how could these universities be doing this? It's like, if you think somebody's kicking back kids' money, who you think they getting the kickback to even allow this shit to happen? Like, you think the kickback is just small? Like, that shit kills me. Like, somebody is allowing this to happen, and they're profiting because of that.
Bro, how much money y'all think, like, Garnett or LeBron them would have got if they went to college, bro?
LeBron even spoke on that.
Yeah. He said they came
LeBron should have said, I need 7 figures a year.
Now, LeBron was like, if I would have went to college, shit would have had to change for me, Jack. He said just like that. And that's the realest shit you can say. Like, if they got upset about the Hummer, man, please.
Man, please.
See,
been like Deion Sanders.
Listen, and that's why I always say people always want to underestimate the bag that these guys generate. Right? People always want to say, like, well, they're getting a free education. That's probably one game. That's probably literally if you're the man at a school that's even like, you know, this dope, even if the school is dope. I'll say this: if you go back to a random, you know, just dude who's a superstar in college, and you look at what he's generating, I'll even go back. Let me go back to experience. When we were in high school, Whitney Young wasn't Jordan, I don't think, before Q took off. We was, I don't know what the fuck was on our jersey.
I think we may have been in some Converse.
Yeah, we may have been in some Pro Kids. We don't know. But next thing we know, Q took off. He was, you know, and then next thing you know, it was Jordan's uniforms, Jordan boxes at the school, like about a stack taller than us. And it's like, you know, granted, that's different, but I just equate it to the college level based on this. Once that school gets that merchandising right, right, and then all of a sudden all the official school merchandise and all of the bookstores in this school that got 50,000 students is all Jordan. How many T-shirts do you think they sell? How many sweatsuits do you think they sell? Like, that shit is, the trap is booming. The trap is booming, Jack. They know what they're doing, man. You know, these boys need to eat because. I never forget. It was a documentary on Netflix that was super cold, and I know we're gonna wrap this up. So it was just, and I forgot who dude was. He was a running back for UCLA. I can't even think his name.
Not Reggie Bush, right?
No.
He went to
UCLA. He
UCLA.
played. He ended up being a Lion.
Shit, I know what you're talking about.
Fresh statistician.
You know.
But
Javi Best went to Cal.
It might have been Javi Best. It might have been.
I think because I think I've heard this documentary. It was probably Javi Best. I think.
So they was at his school, and the crazy part. So they were at the school. It was Javi Best. So at the school, he was talking about the coach, and he was like, "Man, you know, we were sitting there." He said, "First off, you think a full scholarship is a full scholarship." He said, "After my full scholarship, he was like, I still had a balance of $3,000." And it was funny because then at the end, he said, he was like, man, he was like, I think, and then there was a scene with Arian Foster. And that was when Arian Foster was like, it was one night, he said our coach had got a raise. He said our coach was driving to practice, pulled up at the practice field, and had, I think, a brand new Lexus LX 460. Like, that's the big body Lexus sedan. He said, we could not afford to eat that night. We had ran through our meal plan. He said they literally called the coach and said, "Coach, if we can't eat tonight, we're going to do something stupid to eat." And he said the coach came through, and I guess he bought them like 100 tacos or some shit. Like, I think it was only like maybe like 4 guys. But I'm like, that's how shit be. Like, they not these are still broke college students.
All day. Like Corey was saying. He's like, man, they won't even let you get a job or none of that because you don't even have time for anything else but football. Right. Like, don't think for 1 second it's a cakewalk because they got a full scholarship. Like he said, he like, man, we doing 2-a-day practices and I still got to go to class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At least at his program, you know, he wasn't taking walking and jogging like some of these other athletes I've seen.
Right. I'm sure Notre Dame don't have walking and jogging.
You know, but I mean, you got to tie all that into with the inherent jealousy of people seeing young black athletes, you know, doing something that they consider easy, quote unquote, for a big payout compared to what they do. And it's like, it's a specialized skill. Just like somebody who's the best IT person or whatever, that's a specialized skill. And you get paid for that specialized skill. Right. But you're not jealous of the IT person because you look at that person like, oh, they worked hard to get to where they at. Right. Sure, where you look at the black athlete in particular, and you already want to label black people lazy, which is funny because we get labeled lazy after we start working for free in slavery. But you want to look at the black athlete and think they're entitled, they got it off easy, and you don't realize the work and the stress. People don't even take that into consideration. Like, to be a top athlete and know that there's 50 to 100 family and extended family members dependent on you making it to that level. Right. And a lot of kids don't make it because that stress weighs on them. I mean, shit, just think about your everyday life. You got stress if you fuck up at work and you sitting like, if I get fired, then how am I going to pay rent 2 months from now when my savings or some shit is liquidated? Now, think of that stress on a 19-year-old.
Right. and that's what I say about black people in general. We don't have no room for error. Like, we can't go to college and fuck up. Like, compared to the whites, they can go to college, fuck up, and come back to daddy's business. You know what I mean? We don't got that. We got to go to college, and we got to do what we supposed to do, how we supposed to do it, the right way, all that. That's why a lot of people fail, too.
Let's even flip that, right? Because let's even flip that into a way that I think, not even going back to daddy's business, right? Let's say daddy don't got a business. But going back to daddy's homie, right? Yeah. Daddy's homie who can put in a good word. Right. Daddy's, just random, like, your community who's going to look out for you and say that you're a good kid and has the actual power to get you a job doing something. Like, that right there is a key. It don't even have to be.
And that's business, real shit, because you could be doing the right thing and not have no real connections to get you a job. Like, I wasn't a bad kid growing up, and I could never get like a summer job, really, or like a job like working somewhere after school, like at a Foot Locker or something. Like, I just didn't have enough people in my network that would be like, you know what, I see that he needs to work, right? Because my OG wasn't making a lot of money. I didn't have like the flyers get. I wanted to work, but nobody would never hire me. Right. Whereas in like other people, other races, like you said, they have that built. They family had that built-in network where you damn near don't have to ask nobody. Like, you want to work? Right.
You want to work?
You want to work? Right. I didn't have that. I was like, can I get a job somewhere? Right. So I can get some Air Max. Shit. Damn.
Speaking of Air Max.
Speaking of Air Max.
Nice little segue.
Speaking of Air Max. Man, this past Monday at the Air Max party.
326.
Yeah, 326. I won't even talk about it much. I mean, the party was fun. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. The party was fun.
Yeah, man. My phone was lighting up. I was getting a fresh, where the fuck you at? Why you ain't here? These your people. I'm in Vegas. It was just bad scheduling. Blame Dion.
Blame me. I mean, in the party, man, I feel like this. It's interesting because when I set out to do the party, I said, let's keep this small. Let's keep this 100 people, 200 people.
That's funny because when he first wrote, he did say keep it small, and I just chuckled like.
I mean, that was a hope that I had. I mean, but it was funny. I was actually talking to Paris from Posh, and I was talking to her about it through this process, and I said, man, I wanted to keep it super small, and she said, well, she was like, Dion, sometimes, God's plan is bigger than yours, and I was like, man, all right, I don't have a comeback for that, but
I knew it was a problem. a good problem when Deion said, Scoop Jackson is here. I said, he's
Scoop was one of the first people in the door.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there, and it was funny. I'm like DJing, I'm looking, and then I look up, and I see I'm looking. I was like, what? And then it was like George was like, George is super calm, right? So George is just. I think Obama could have walked in, and George would have said it in the same tone. George was like, "You see Scoop Jackson?" And I was like, what? I was like, Scoop. You know how much I used to read Scoop Jackson? I'm looking, and he's like, yeah, Scoop Jackson. And I'm looking, and he posted up right at the bar, right in front of the DJ table. And I was like, oh shit, that's Scoop motherfucking Jackson.
I wish I was there early. Cause, I would have run over there and ran I love Scoop work since ESPN. Man, I would have like, this is this man's party, by the way, Scoop. FYI. Can you come on the podcast, right. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Let me say this for you, Deion. So, I want to make this real clear. Don't nobody try to pull this shit no more. We got the lock on the Air Max parties. Deion started this shit. If Deion not here, then me and Fresh are gonna throw the Air Max party. Yeah. Don't nobody else take his idea. I will beat your ass. I can't emphasize this enough because shit like this happens. People see this as a good idea. They'll try to take it to someone else. Like you see any of the Air Max parties next year, it ain't original if it ain't us.
Right.
I just want to make that crystal clear. And if people think it's sweet or we just like no, hear it in 2018. If this shit ain't by us in 2019, it ain't legit.
And I'm talking like this. That's my brother's baby. That's my brother's baby. So that's my nephew. Ain't nothing shaking. Ain't nobody else having no motherfucking Max
I just know how shit goes.
Oh yeah.
Especially
I know how shit goes. And people probably want to congratulate you on the low, but try to be slick on your shit.
Yeah, nah. We done came across some people and I had to get on my Dame Dad shit. People talking some, thank you Chicago for everything. No, wait, hold on, hold the fuck on. No, we didn't know it was. Well, nah, you know. Nah, you know.
See, Fresh give you the benefit of the doubt. Me, I'm like, nah, nigga, you know.
Nah, nigga, you know. That's what I'm saying. Right. I was like, gee, you know. I went straight how Frank Lucas went to go holler at Nikki. Hey, man. I don't know what you got going on over here, but it's a brand.
It sells itself.
Yes.
Right. It's and here's the shit. Let me give people if you happen to be one of them people just listening, kind of trying to soak up game, I'm for that. Soak up game. That's what this is for.
Yes.
But here's the shit. If you need an idea, we have an abundance of them. I will sell you an idea. I probably will even give you an idea if you cool. I'll be like, oh yeah, then you should do this. Mm-hmm. For real, real shit. And I think that's the thing, innate, I don't think there are no I don't have hate in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I don't have hate in my heart. I want everybody to eat. I want you to eat off your own shit. But hey, But yeah, man.
Enough of that.
Air Max party was dope. People enjoyed it. I'm happy. Yeah, and you know what I really like about the Air Max party? That women were excited.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times women are held to that club dress standard, right? Mm-hmm. And at this age, we're 30. Well, I'm 35, right? So and I feel like when we have a party, you know what I'm saying? First off, don't give me a dress code because we all know how to dress. We all know how we want to present ourselves at this age, right? So if somebody walk in the club dressed weird as fuck, that's how they want to present themselves. Let their ass in. You know what I'm saying? As long as they not breaking the rules, cool. But I was excited because a lot of women still you go out and damn near. Like I said, I've seen women turned away for not wearing heels. I've seen all kind of random dress codes for guys. I've seen, all types of standards, and which is fine for those parties. But what we want to do is I want everybody to be comfortable. You know, so many women hit me up saying, "Hey, I don't own a pair of Air Max. I've never had a pair." And I'm like, "Shit, go get you your feet." And I was like, "Your feet will thank you." Mm-hmm. And literally at the party, women was in there fresh. We were in there fresh guys.
Yeah, women's shoe game was ridiculous.
Yeah,
right. Shout out to Lovey. She always come through and support. She had the blood red Max. I seen you, Lovey.
She don't be fucking around.
Yeah, and what's funny? Here's the shit. Lovey is a real shoe head. She also has
she her own shoe
must love
Instagram.
Shoes. Must love shoes. Instagram. The funny part, she said she walked up to me. We were talking, and she said, "Dion." She was like, I feel like the light should be turned up a little bit so people can see shoes.
Yes, yes. She definitely was on that.
That's how I knew she was.
Because she asked me first. I'm like, ma'am, this is not my party tonight. I will find Dion and let him know ASAP.
But yeah, man. I mean, and I'm with it because I feel like a lot of times, like I said, women are held to this standard, and we just want you to come out and be comfortable. And I'll say this a lot after the party. So many people definitely hit me up like, I loved it. The vibe was good. The groove was good. So I'm like, do I throw another one and win like before MX party? Because the year's a long time. So I don't know. We cooking up. I'm cooking up. I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, we doing good momentum wise too. It's getting hot when it's cooking.
There was a lot of people there yesterday. I came in late. I was looking around like,
that shit was shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I was like, nah, we was looking at the pre-orders like, hey, man, we might got some on that.
It wasn't even the best weather. Speaking of like spring, could you come? Damn.
Come on, spring. What
is spring break down with us?
Bro, like
spring into
like low key, like, and I've been like so like anti-winter, like I'm just ignoring that the weather is below 40 and not wearing my coat places. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a protest people are taking. We are like, man, fuck these coats. We gonna wear hood. We gonna force spring up.
Yeah, one way or another. Like I'm not pulling back out the big boy. Like no, it's done.
Listen, I done made it through this whole winter without like a real cold.
Right.
I definitely didn't get the flu.
Yeah, I definitely
Can
get
spring
sick.
just come on so we can just.
I definitely didn't get sick.
Right, yeah. So all right, man. You know what? Speaking of sick. One of our favorite rappers was Sick Lines.
Oh man. God.
Oh man. You know what? Before I even Fabulous.
You broke my heart, Fredo.
Fab.
You broke my heart, Fredo.
You killing me. You killing me. And I'll say this. Okay, I DJ'd at the MX party, right?
Cool.
And here's the shit. I made a point. I'm playing it out in my set, dropping my songs on my MX crate. I made it a point. I played Shorty is a 10 by The Dream, right? Mm-hmm. I took that into Fancy, the end part of Fancy, where the dream start flowing. Mm-hmm. And I took that into the Throw It in the Bag remix with Fab, Drake and The Dream. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something, man. Now I feel like a dweeb. now I feel like
I took my time out, put that little sample hit
God
in order.
Damn it. And the weird shit. Here's the weirdest shit about this. Fab is making the news because essentially, he's the latest case, and the details. Essentially, I really, if lack of better words, is gruesome. Because anytime you hear about somebody knocking 2 teeth out, or that's the alleged thing right now. The police report says knocked out 2 teeth, and that's his longtime girlfriend. That's his baby mama. I don't like baby mama. That's the mother of his son. You know what I'm saying? And you put your son on the album cover. But here's the thing that also is throwing me off, and not throwing me off because these shits is up. Because Trey Songz just the week before got hit with the domestic charges. Yeah. Saying that he apparently he lit into a girl at the club All-Star Weekend that was with him. He took 2 of her phones. He threw them down the hill because she was talking to another man. So he did that so she couldn't call an Uber for a ride.
Come on, Trigger.
And then apparently, there's video of him. They haven't released it yet, but apparently there's video of him like literally punching this woman. Apparently he hit her in the face, he hit her in the neck. And the crazy part is once this happened, Black Twitter, which is the best private investigating source in the world, agency in the world.
Firm.
They pull up, they say, man, Fab has actually got a history of doing this. And now Lisa Bloom is on his ass, and she got numerous women who say not Fab, but Trey Songz has gotten physical with them. Mm-hmm. So now you got like Trey Songz about to be like, boom, like nigga, you about to be out the game.
He was already out the game because once he made a Christmas album.
A Christmas album.
Come on, man.
Listen,
man, it hurts to say, but once you make a Christmas album,
or best of,
right?
Or best of, like, and not even one of them long best of, like the short one, like the
7 songs,
right? Best of EP,
right? Best of EP, that shit,
yeah.
And then Chris Brown was videotaped like with the woman in the playful chokehold.
Like
it was weird.
Breezy, you at the point in your life where you can't even play like that.
Right,
bro.
you cannot make no mistakes.
Like
I think Dion, you touched on something like a while ago this week that stuck with me. In situations like this, both sides, just call the police. I think our good friend S.A. talked about this before. Because an example came up. Somebody was like, well, what do you do? Because one of our friends, he witnessed a domestic situation as he was going into work. Mm-hmm. And everybody was kind of walking past it, but something compelled him to go back. And, luckily for him, the situation, played out smooth. He talked to the guy. He's like, bruh, you need to quit this right now because, they'll arrest your ass real quick. Mm-hmm. And so dude, listened to him stop and kind of drove off. But one of our good friends, he works in law enforcement. He was like, guys, kudos to you for stopping it. But what you need to do is call the police.
Right.
He was like, all parties involved, when some shit like that kick off, you just need to call the police because you don't know the origin of the situation. Right. He was like, yes, it's very wrong to hit a woman. Why is the reason this man attacking him? Like, if the woman did some super duper foul shit, then what are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. So I think you said this too in regards to the Fabulous situation, especially with her. And for anybody listening to this is not me taking Fabulous side, but for her to call her father and brother to the house, right, into Fabulous home,
right.
So if you already know the situation is hostile, and you calling some people to come and remove a man's guns from his home,
right,
and you think this shit is going to end up at La 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 Sesame Street fairy tale ending, you got fucked up.
All the way fucked up.
If you can call your brother and father to come to the house, you can call the police.
Right.
And even on the flip side, same thing with Fab. Instead of you coming back trying to say, I'm gonna kill, I got a bullet for everybody and knocking your mother or your child 2 front teeth, and that takes a lot of force to knock 2 front teeth back. A lot of force. I got an elbow into my front tooth one time. I had to go to emergency dental the next day, hooping. That shit does not feel good. Fab, call the police. 2 people in your home who ain't supposed to be there.
Right.
Just call the police. One way or another, the shit is gonna get figured out without somebody getting their hands put on
I got
somebody
a question.
else. Go ahead.
Was the Blickies registered?
I would believe so.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know. The crazy part about the incident. Let me just say this on our behalf: none of us condone the incident. Period. Point blank. Because that shit. Like we said. Honestly, when you think of it, just period, it's disgusting that you for one that you would, punch your son's mother. Because I always think of a punch. I know we say a slap is the most disrespectful, spitting on somebody is the most disrespectful, but to ball up your fist,
wind back,
and punch somebody, reportedly police reports it 7 times. That takes you, that nigga was, that's disgusting. One, it's crazy. And literally, I think just based off that alone, if that's what happened, then that nigga should be in the jail. You know what I'm saying? And the weird part is how all this happened, and they said essentially he went to jail, and they gave him, essentially he walked in, walked out.
Yeah.
Which is some next level shit. I think what was interesting about that, and I want to bring up a couple of points. I took a couple of notes. Because
look at Dion. He was on top of this one.
It's really just shit I didn't want to forget. Here's the thing about Fabulous. I do want to make known, and I know y'all people who kind of gonna hear this, and some people gonna say, "Do you got a link?" I don't have a link because actually you had to be present in the time and following hip hop. But if you know Fab, you should be familiar with the Street Fam. Mm-hmm. Here's one thing about Street Fam that was always said the street fam was actually a real violent group of people. And the street fam it was a time where all the New York people were victims of home invasions. A lot of them were. Busta Rhymes, actually Mary J. It was like literally a list of hip hop people who were getting their homes invaded and robbed. And that actually did come back to the street fam. And it was like, and then, of course on one end, it was Fab getting people's house broken into, he getting them robbed. But of course, you look at it and it's like, I don't want to say, of course Fab was absolved of anything, but still it's like, if these people that are that close to you are brazenly home invading and robbing people, getting them for thousands of dollars in jewelry, I just want to establish that to let you know, like, people who like sitting there like, oh, Fab, he just a pretty boy. Nah, that's not what's happening here. And one thing I also wanted to point out, I seen a lot of people, saying different things, right? Emily stayed, Emily should have left. I've never been too really kind of keyed into their relationship. I just knew who she was. I knew she was thick. That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
She was thick.
Right. I don't know about what happened with them on reality TV or Fab. I just didn't know. One thing that was interesting, everybody was like, oh, Emily should have left, and a lot of people were saying, oh, all these reasons she should have left and things like that. But one thing I kind of wanted to point out was this that kind of threw me off. Just as easily as people point fingers at Emily and say she could have left, Fab could have let her go.
True.
Like, Fab could have let her go. Like, if this the way he felt, he could have kicked it a while ago. He should say, hey, you know what? You got to leave my shit. Cause this kind of nigga I am. So, it sounds weird, but that's some real shit. That's some weird shit.
Like, I don't know. Me, because I don't get into the whole domestic violence thing. Right. I don't know what it'll take for me to hit a woman. Like, I can't see it because I'm more of a walker offer. You know what I mean? But Fab, that whole situation, why not just beat the daddy in the ass? I ought to beat everybody around her ass and look her in the face. She wouldn't need to get punched. Even though she was bogus, I'm going to show you what you put them in right now. We finna beat their ass.
Right.
That's what I would have did. I wouldn't have touched her at all. I think it would have been more painful her seeing her daddy get his ass beat the right way.
Beat his daddy ass.
Be his Doc Rivers gift. Like, I just feel like I would just beat everybody else's ass but hers around.
Because we're not robots, so emotions do happen, and to see, two motherfuckers in your house that ain't supposed to be in your house, especially if you and your old lady been arguing, for what they say, a couple of days or whatever, some shit, whatever happened, and see, her father and brother in your crib, you're gonna lose your shit. You're probably gonna lose your shit, but to lose your shit, to hit your baby mama 7 times, after the first 2 punches, what made you go back for 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7?
That to me kind of lets us know that the situation was OD and it's all speculation and opinion, but that kind of lets us know it wasn't, somebody doing that extreme don't feel like the first time, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like honestly just like a regular person, your first fight. If it's your first fight in life, you don't just hit haymakers on somebody's face just nonstop. That's just not how life is. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because the first time your fist hit a face in real life, it feel different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think one thing I do want to clarify in case any questions. We discussing the incident on video, which is interesting because it kind of took place apparently after all these incidents. It kind of, I guess, Fab made threats, and next thing you know, she called her father and brother to the house to apparently remove guns because Fab made threats involving those guns or something like that. She felt he was dangerous, and she wanted them to remove the guns, which like Pete said, I just felt was real. It's interesting, but it's no rational, no right way in that decision because at that point, if you saw a motherfucker get that violent, you liable to just, just do something in that instance. Like, you just want to get to safety, which is everything about that situation is just bad, wrong. It's just all bad. But like I said, man, Fab, it's hard because you sit there, you're like, fuck, like this nigga, pull this shit, like, it's weird to see so many entertainers going down this road because now we're in that state where there's more, like we always say, the world is aware. I was watching Flint Town on Netflix. One of the police said something that's so real. He said back when he started being a police officer, the only audience was the people who were on the scene that he arrived on. He said now every scene I arrive on, I know the world is my audience because everybody immediately pulls their camera out. And I feel like people just don't behave that way. You know what I'm saying? And now it's so weird because now you look up and it's like, these acts are public. They public. They happening in places where you're getting recorded. So now, like, we seeing all this shit. So it's weird. It's weird as fuck.
Weird as hell. Like, it's crazy times we living in because like you said, like everybody's first instinct is really to pull out the phone, and it's already hard to do your job with anything or to react to a situation without like cameras. And so now everybody has a camera. So even if you and your spouse or your mate get into an argument in public, you got to think about that too.
Right.
Like, you may not think nobody's seeing you backslap her ass, but then poof, you can world star when you on Twitter. Like, so man, and it's hard to try to put rules and conditions on human emotion because emotion is an unpredictable thing. But man, like, motherfuckers got to think, Jack. Like, it's just point blank period. Like, motherfuckers just got you got to think. You got to, man, when we talk about, I feel like I say this like every other show, conflict resolution skills. Yeah. Like, man, like, it's.
But my thing too, as the father, where are your father's skills? I have 3 daughters. If any one of my daughters feel like their life is in danger at a guy's house, I'm not saying let's go get the guns. I'm saying, why the fuck are you going back? Why are you even thinking about going in this house? You don't think he has other ways of killing you besides the guns? You know what I mean?
Like honestly, we're saying, no, I'm going to get you. Fuck the guns. Right. I'm going to get you, pack you a bag.
We gone.
And then we'll call the police.
And we gone.
Because like you said, like, again, like, now we talking about taking somebody else's guns. Oh, yeah, that's going to help the situation.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Right.
It's crazy.
I like that you provided that father aspect of it because that's a very real thing. Like, and I think too, it's like I said, it's just all crazy,
slippery slope.
It's crazy.
Slippery slope. Because man, it's so many other variables and factors I'm looking at in this whole situation. Like, who was the smart person in this? Nobody was smart in this whole situation. From Fabulous to his bodyguards to her to the father to the brother. Like, is anyone smart? Does anyone have any common sense?
You know what's crazy? I was looking at that bodyguard, right? I was looking at the bodyguard and I was sitting there like, even if I'm your bodyguard in that situation, I might have to beat your ass.
I might have to beat your ass.
Because I'm not letting you hit your BM 7 times. I'm not letting you hit her once, knowing that you are the breadwinner. I'm like, fam, no, like. Right. This ain't gonna be a good look. Like, no.
I might have to steal you and throw you in that Sprinter van and say, nigga, what the fuck was you thinking?
What the fuck?
Because you're about to lose it all. And nigga, you're about to lose it all, and that's the mother of your kid. Like, if this shit leak, first off, she's got a following. This women who love this woman, and she's, like I said, the mother of your kid. If you hit the mother of your kid, granted, them two got to be common law somewhere by now. Like, nigga, like, you literally throwing this all away because of this emotion you had over a secret LA trip. Like, nigga, stop. Another thing I wanted to address about this, like, the social media firestorm on that shit is crazy. It's crazy because everybody is going super, super ham right? Everybody's going super ham on Fabulous and the situation. One thing that I could not stop thinking about when I was looking, all the people, like I said, super ham. Fabulous is a guy. He committed a domestic act, allegedly. Like I said, I guess we gotta throw the allegedly in. Like see the guy through the allegedly in there on R. Kelly too. He's like doing lawsuits. He's like allegedly. We did a domestic violence show once.
Yes.
And when we looked up the statistics, what was it about? One, it was a very like 1 in what amount 3, like about 1 in 3, 1 in 4 women. Was it women or people? I'm not sure, but we'll just say women. I believe it was women. If I'm wrong, you can correct me on your old time. Were the victim of a domestic incident. So when I see everybody going super ham on Fab, cutting Fab off, fuck Fab, I'm never listening again, delete all the music off the hard drive. I get it. You have that right. I've done that with some other niggas before who've done questionable acts. But I look at it like, honestly, if the number's 1 in 4, it's a nigga on your friends list doing it too. It's a nigga you might be in the club picture with doing it too, or has done it. And I'll be like, listen, like I get it, like how it's, we in a point where we want to hold celebrities accountable and shit like that. But are you holding your mans accountable?
Baby,
holding the celebrities accountable is easy because that's not your everyday life. Right, that's a fantasy life that you live. That's some shit that you far removed from. So you deleting it off your hard drive, that shit don't affect you one way or another, to be honest. Right. Like, but hold that motherfucker accountable that been beating your best friend ass.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we're talking accountability.
Now we're talking.
But that is too close to home, man. Right. Then real life decisions have to be made.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother story.
Because trust and believe. If it's somebody in that damn club picture, I'll go out on a limb to say this. If you see me in the picture with some niggas at a party, and trust me, for the most part, unless a dude snuck in the picture, those are vetted people. They not doing foolishness. Right. But like I said, if you in a picture with so and so who, hit that oil and slap his BM and you seen it and you didn't say shit, I mean, that's far worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, until that accountability starts to happen in real life, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the celebrity accountability is just some shit you doing. I don't want to say it's for show, but it's a small pebble. You know what I'm saying? But you got to do it to the people that's close. That's the only way it works.
People know me. I'm going to say that. Like, bro, you out of line. Like, it's never that much. A woman can never do that much to you to make you for them, they always got an excuse. But to me, it ain't nothing a woman can do to make me put my hands on her. I can stop her from putting her hands on me, but I'm not going to ever be the aggressor. Like, I'm going to go ahead and beat my girl ass. Like, I don't even know how to feel like that, though. Majority of the fights I done had in my life, bro, I didn't start.
Right. You
know what I mean? So it's like, I can't see myself never starting a fight with a man, but I'm gonna start a fight with a woman. That sounds so cowardly to me. Just listen to that sound. That sound like the people who be needing their ass whooped. Hit a man. I remember Tupac said that in Poetic Justice. But I don't know, man. I feel certain ways about domestic violence, man. Yeah. Nothing cool about it. Ain't nothing. Like, I hear a lot of men, I beats my bitch ass. That's not cute, Joe. Like, I'm not finna shake up with you or give you a high five. That sounds dumb.
I might be. I think if somebody said that to me in this day and age, I think I would definitely try to test your limits. Just like my personality right now, I would try to test your limits. I would try to push you to the edge and see what would get you to react. If I don't immediately say, if somebody said that, if I don't immediately call you out your name. And you like around, then I'm definitely probably not gonna fuck with you. And then if you just happen to force to be in my presence, trust me, I'ma just test your limits just to see. Like that's all I can do. And if I know your girl, I might say, hey, we gotta do something. Like, let me know. Let me pass the word.
We can get on top of all that.
That's the word. I mean, okay.
So good to be home.
It's a lot going on in the world. We do got brother Stephon Clark passed away at the hands of the police who forced him to pass away.
So sad.
He was shot in his parents' backyard, holding what went from a crowbar to a stick to a cell phone by descriptions of the police. The crazy part is, I believe, did the police handcuff him after he was shot? Or they just left him?
They left
him on the ground.
Sitting on the ground for like 10 minutes or so.
And the crazy part is also, I don't know if y'all have seen these interviews. Those police, they cut off their body. They cut off the audio on the body cam after the shooting.
Yeah, the Sacramento mayor, the police was like, I have no idea why the sound was cut off.
I have no idea why the sound was cut off. I'm sitting there like,
you know what?
Why the sound was cut off. Man. Yeah. Like niggas had to get they tried to get their story straight. The interesting, bizarre part. Have y'all seen the heat video from the helicopter? Mm-hmm. So they got a heat video where he's like going through yards. It's bizarre, but like he's kind of like hopping fences. It's like weird and like essentially kind of like on his way home. He just said, "I'm gonna just take these fences. I'm gonna just go through the alley, take these fences." But it was weird because it's like when they brought the report back. I think I don't know if it came out today, but definitely I read it today. 6 of the shots were in his back, like, and they said like, how can someone comply if you shoot them 6 times
in the back
within 10 seconds of seeing them? I'm like 10. I don't know how I comply that fast to something just like bam. Like what? Like it's the first thing I have to do every time I see a police throw my hands up just to me like strip naked. Like right, naked. Like I got to be naked already for 10 seconds. I can't take clothes off. Shit. I mean, it's just so bizarre, and I think one of the things that's really telling, and I would advise everybody to watch Flint Town. Because it's an interesting perspective, because it's essentially about police in Flint, Michigan, and it's by those, it covers the police in depth. And one scene, it's man, when I tell you, it hits me so interesting because the police actually watched the next day after the shooting in Minnesota, Philando Castile. So they watched the Philando Castile video as a unit before they started work. And the guy said, go around the room and everybody give me their thoughts about this video. A room full of police. When I tell you, babe, it was fresh say, baby. Man, when I tell you, it was bizarre. I say everybody watch that shit, man, because the black cops were like silent. You could tell they were hurt. You could tell they were like perplexed. And then they got the white cops like, well, we didn't see what happened before that video, and we don't know now. Now videos can be edited. And I was sitting there like, and then people were like, you see the way that cop is screaming "fuck" after he shot that guy? That just shows the adrenaline was pumping and how scared he was. And I was just literally sitting there. I was so mindfucked. I wasn't. So it's weird. You see it, you surprised, but you like the way they kill them motherfuckers. You not surprised. And what's so crazy is so they were talking about it, and then there was one white cop who said, I don't think that guy should have been a police officer. I don't think he was prepared. And I believe were his words, but everybody else was like, oh, he was scared. I'm sitting there like just mind fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like literally mind fucked. The video altered and all types of just monkey shit, man.
No, that blue line shit is real, bro. Like,
I'm tired of like even trying to like make excuses. Try to think like what they could have thought. Like motherfuckers is wrong. Motherfuckers is out here shoot to kill. Motherfuckers are scared of us innately. Period. And I mean all this other monkey shit, video altered, man only had 10 seconds to comply, quote unquote. It's all bullshit. Like at this point, I hate to say it, like, but like I'm so desensitized to this shit and angry when I hear about it. It's like you can play out the whole story. Person X gets shot by police officers a certain number of times. He's black. Bullshit starts. Protests happen. Mm-hmm. Police may or may not get indicted. They'll go to trial. They'll get off. The end.
Yeah. It's so bizarre because they got I'll go ahead.
No, I was saying I don't even think he's black. I don't know what he is. Well, he may be black. The black cop who like killed the white woman
in Minnesota.
He got slammed instantly. Like it was all kind of we don't know what was. He didn't get the same support system as the other cops. It was instantly like, oh, I didn't know what happened with him or what he was thinking.
You know
what?
Let's break this down. I think he's black or maybe an immigrant.
Yeah,
he's a Muslim as well. Yeah. The weird shit about him is that they did a whole press conference to tell you why he fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all seen that shit.
No, I remember that shit.
They did a whole press conference recently like, this lady did this. She walked up to the car. He reached across to another officer with no regard and fired his weapon. And I was sitting there like fascinated because I'm like, yo, this shit has not been done for anybody.
Right.
Now I'm gonna go back to Flint Town and tell you something very real. There's a lot of black cops, of course. It's Flint, Michigan, right? A lot of black cops on the show. One of the black cops brought up something that was so what I felt to be prolific. Prolific may not be the right word, but I use it so you got to deal with it.
Right.
He said one of the things they teach us as police in police academy is to reassess the threat. He said we're always reassessing the threat. And this cop said, this black cop, I think he had 19 years on the force. He said, what's not happening in any of these cases involving black people is that none of these people are reassessing the threat to see when somebody's not a threat. He said, this is not happening. He said, people just treat the threat one way and operate. And it was funny because it was a young black dude who was like, yo, they fear us. And they feared us for generations, so the fear is already there, and they just don't reassess. And I was like, "Yo, like," so they showed video of Eric Garner doing that. They were like, "Yeah," they showed video of him. They showed a video of somebody else, but they're like, "Yeah, nobody's reassessing." So essentially, what you're telling me is that they're throwing all the training out the window that this black officer knows because their mind, and as people who don't look like us, they scared as fuck of us, and they just do what the fuck they want to do. And because they're behind that shield or curtain, they gonna protect the fuck out of it. That's essentially what's happening. And it's like it's gonna continue to happen because there's no consequences. Like,
right,
nigga,
fucking walking around with the James Bond thing, a license to kill. They just doing whatever and getting away with it easily too. It's not even like a struggle. It's not even a struggle, bro.
The crazy part, they had white officers on the show who were talking, and some of them people are the officers that you know will kill you. Some of those, literally, it's a guy on there. He actually killed a black man a while ago. He killed a black man. He said a black guy was running. They lost sight of him for 2 seconds. Why they lost sight of him? Apparently, he threw his gun 50 feet away. But when they asked him to turn around, he stopped, and then they said the guy touched his chest. And when he touched his chest, that officer let his ass have it.
Wow.
But he was like, back then, it wasn't, no social media, so he didn't come under no scrutiny. It was like he said, he really played it like, yeah, I killed this guy. I went back to work the next day. That's essentially what he said on the documentary. And it's so weird because, like, it's just, it's just wild shit, man. But, and his attitude towards people, on every episode, he's like, cops are just being hunted by people. And we get killed in our cars. We get killed while we eat lunch. I'm just trying to eat lunch at the Kmart, trying to stuff a sandwich in my mouth. Like, literally, these people, like...
Who fuck nigga. Like, fuck out of here. I just got... So, sorry. Just...
Right. Hey man,
nah, I'm sleepy.
Watch that shit, man.
I am.
We go. I wanna actually record you while you watch that shit. I wanna record
you. To see me watch television makes me angry. Is a true experience.
Man, it is. Do we got any good news? We got some. You know what? Let's end the show. We got some good news, even though this is far off. Mm-hmm. It's good news to us. It may not be good news for y'all, but Avengers is coming out.
Yes,
Avengers is coming out.
Avengers is coming out. Oh, the good people of Thank You Chicago will be having a pre-screening. You guys can get your tickets online. Thank You Chicago, Eventbrite. We're gonna have it. The show comes out, I think, the 27th. I think the movie comes out on the 27th, and we'll be playing it on the 26th. Get your tickets early because we did the pre-screening for Black Panther, and the people of Wakanda showed up and showed out. Tickets were going fast.
I love my people. Wakanda was an appetizer for what's to come.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear shit about. Oh, why y'all trying to shit on Black Panther? Like this is bigger than rap.
This is bigger than rap.
This is bigger than rap. We love this Marvel shit. We'll die for this shit.
Yes.
Thanos is coming. He is coming.
Hey,
Jack.
From what I heard, Silver Surfer might be in this movie.
Oh, Lord.
I'm kind of excited about that. I wish my boy Lawrence Fishburne was doing his voice again.
I'm not gonna have no time to watch it on 26 as we were going to East Wakanda the next day.
I heard.
So I may even just watch it. Wakanda.
Prayers with you. Prayers be with you.
I thought about that. I was like, you know what? That shit might be low key lit. As black as DC is, as black as DC is, I feel like I need to find a black neighborhood. And just because I feel like people gonna be amped after Black Panther, even people like who ain't seen it, who like caught up. I feel like, all right,
And then a lot of the movies gonna take place in Wakanda. So
yeah, the good brother of no foreplay are coming to DC.
Yes, we are. That's good news. Ain't that some good news? We will be attending Broccoli Fest.
So any of our DC listeners and fans, we are coming.
Rolled out the red carpet.
Show us some love.
Need to hit Howard home. Hit Howard up one more time.
Real quick thing. This ain't related to nothing, but it just popped on my mind. I want to give a PSA. If
Lord,
I do something to offend you, and I apologize, after you get my apology, do not bring it up. Shout out to DJ Envy for looking like a fool. Like that just popped in my head.
God.
We don't got to touch too much on it, but like that is my biggest pet peeve.
I was gonna give him the Fuck Boy of the Week award, even though it's later. He does deserve the fuck.
But yeah, like a lot of you people, a lot of guys out do that shit. Like like you think you like proving a point after somebody apologizes for something that's probably weak as hell in the first place, and then you want to like expound on your point and talk tough. Like that shit's for suckers. That's the shit that gets you slapped in the mouth, and that like that whole interaction between Envy, and it's funny because like. I'm not the biggest Jesus and did I say that right? Amaro fan or whatever. Like I they grew on me a lot, but I'm not their biggest fan. But like the way they handled that shit, it made them look so much better than him. It's ridiculous.
I never seen somebody start an interview and say, "Here we got dickhead and pussy."
Bruh, like they kicked it. All, like I'm like. And they both, and you can tell it wasn't a joke because when they both looked at each other and Mero was like, this what we going?
Yeah, like, what you want, bro?
I couldn't have. Could you imagine walking in an interview, somebody that showed you love numerous times, and that's the way they started? I low key would have been like, first of all, let me tell you something. DJ Envy looked like he would get his ass whooped by anybody. I think Angela Yee could whoop the nigga. I'm not even gonna front. And I was looking at that like, yo, homie, he really felt it today.
Yeah, that was wild, bro. We'd have been all the way into it. Like the worst thing you do to me as a man, if I'm already dumbing myself down, being. I don't want to say submissive because that sounds kind of suspect, but I'm apologizing, bro. Don't kick me while I'm down.
Right.
Don't keep adding to it. No, apologize for this too, and you know what I'm saying. We gotta understand, people. Anything we put out here in the public is gonna react to it. Your wife is out there in the public. It's not like she's behind some door and nobody know who she is. You know what I mean? Stop playing,
especially
man.
if you fuck up on the regular.
Yeah,
like,
on the regular.
Maybe he was trying to get herself some points by. You know what I'm saying? Let me cape for my woman real fast.
Nah, she told him before he left out the door. You better check their ass.
Yep.
You better
or
check
else.
them.
You better check their ass or don't come back.
You know, I just hey man, you know, I just hope that people, you know, when they have those kind of things, you know, I don't know, that shit's rough, man.
Rough.
But hey, man, you know, did we? You know what? I know this episode's longer than usual.
Yeah.
We wrapping it up, but anybody got any words for Tyrone of Howard family?
Hey. Finesse, young man. Finesse. We see you out here shining, taking the best of the best pictures, brother.
It takes some balls.
Woo!
It takes some balls to know that, especially like it is known that Howard students and their financial aid office like are in a constant battle.
Duh.
A constant battle. Man, a lot of Howard alums and current students, like I've read over the years, the financial aid situation hasn't been the best there. And for him to be on campus amongst his classmates, hearing them struggle, and he talking about, man, that shit bogus as he rubs his fur.
As he rubs his fur.
Man, shit is hard as he's in Cuba taking all the photos. You got to have some balls.
Man, the man was putting stuff like securing the bag.
Securing the bag another semester. Securing the bag off.
Another semester.
Right.
I mean, the refund checks just cracked. Oh my God, Chuck.
I mean,
did you see the kids in a financial aid hall playing "Bitch Better Have My Money"?
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes,
they was doing.
They had a protest.
And they money.
You know, the shit about Tyrone is this, and it's crazy as hell because they did an interview with Roland Martin, hour-long interview, and they were like, "Yo, what happened is." All of that was financial aid money. So they not denying he received it, but the funny shit is everybody's like, nigga, you don't need $430,000 worth of financial aid. But he like on some shit like, hey, I did. And it's like, then he's like, oh, the items I were taking pictures in were borrowed and all this shit. It's like, come on, nigga. Come on, you just gonna lie to the people like
you gonna get all this refund check money, but you're not gonna buy that shit that you were pictured with. Man, please. Hey, Tyrone, real talk. Chicago All-Star game is coming 2020. That fur you had,
man.
If I know shit about to be hit real hard for you, you gonna have to pay that money back. You selling shit at a discounted rate, Jack. Holla at the good fellas. That MacBook you had, we need that for $200. Liquidation sale in your life is coming soon, baby.
Okay. I do got a question. I got a question. All right, we're gonna end this on the question.
Okay.
This is my favorite new Twitter account has dilemmas every day, right? And it's called HBCU Confessions. This is a real nigga question. This is a real nigga question. Are y'all ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I just blocked a girl I've been fucking since October because she's sexually provocative and got a lot of guy friends, and I got trust issues. But she pretty, best pussy ever, ain't clingy, buys the weed, gas for the whip, and even let me put in her ass once. What should I do?
Unblock her. Sorry. I mean, obviously, you know, I mean, how can I put this? Because there's a lot of these new age niggas with shit. There's a lot of old niggas with trust issues.
Sound like he's 19, 20.
Yeah, it sound like
you
he's
know,
19.
but see, here's the shit. It's a certain thing, young man. I wish I knew what his major was because it's a cost benefit analysis.
Yes. You know, like I'm trying not to oversimplify this because I mean at the end of the day, number one is your fault. Whatever you're going through is your fault. You're overthinking it, and you shouldn't be overthinking this situation, especially if you're 19, 20. If you're young and you're overthinking this situation, I mean chances are you and this young lady ain't gonna be together 5 years from now. You need to enjoy this show while it's still going on. There's gonna be other reasons to break up,
and this is not one of them.
This is not one of them.
Listen to me.
And y'all not even together. It sounds
That's
like.
what I'm finna say. Bro, you got a friend with benefits. Great. Only thing fuck you up is your self-esteem. You said she's sexually provocative and always has guy friends. Well, look, if she's going to buy the weed, if she's going to put gas in the whip, tell her just text me when it's my turn. Get them.
But see, here's the thing, though. Obviously, she likes something about him that she doing all this. Like, the sex may be good. She may think that's might be the best dick she had.
True indeed.
Right? I mean, there's so many positives to look at this situation, and people who always sit up and look at the negative shit in a situation, and look at how shit is like hurting them and it's not really hurting them. Those are people that lose out in the long run.
And you know what? Too, sexually provocative is such an interesting term in this situation, and I say that because it is. She's in college. I'm guessing she's not just papered up. I don't know. She may be papered up, but if she's buying the weed for you and putting gas in your car, then I don't think she's doing that for everybody.
Exactly.
She's a nigga. Now I'm thinking about it.
She's tricking that money.
She's a nigga.
She's tricking that money.
If we just took gender out this shit, took gender out of this, dear so and so. Motherfucker be fucking the shit out of me. They buy the weed. They make sure it's gas in my car. Motherfuckers just cool with too many other motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Bruh, she doing this game better than you and you feel a way. That's your fault.
Your fault.
Your fault.
This is a self-inflicted wound.
That's it.
So essentially, big fella, you got to decide what you want to do. Because I feel like he could either come to her and say, all right, put an end to this shit. I'm going to be the only one. He could do that.
That's just not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, he could. You never know. It's new age. I don't know what's happening out here in these
This
streets.
girl sounds like she's the youngest child of 4 siblings, and 3 of the siblings are brothers. And she's been hanging around guys her whole life. And like a lot of these new cats, they be intimidated by these type of women because they like, man, why you always hang around niggas? Like, the fuck? What the fuck? You ain't got no girls to hang around with, But on one hand, I get it, like, cause we always say women who don't have female friends and have a lot of guy friends, they are kind of tricky to trust. But at the same time, again, big fella, don't sound like you're in a relationship.
You're not in a relationship, bro.
So I don't know what
you got your whole life ahead of you.
But I mean, that just goes to another point about people being in these pseudo relationships. Let me stop. Anyway.
You know what this remind me of? I know, we had this discussion some years ago, and we sat down as a conglomerate. Sometimes me and sit at a conference table, and we talk about these things. And we were talking about, we were like, yo, like the girls, a lot of times that people, and I'll say society, because a lot of times, as we often say on the No Phone Play show, a lot of women call other women hoes more than guys, or just the same amount, or brand. And I think a lot of times what happens is this: a lot of these girls that people think are hoes, quote unquote, know men like a motherfucker. Like know men like a motherfucker, and it's weird because essentially that's what he described it. Man, I smoke weed. She always got the weed. She got gas. Like Andy was saying, she got the gas in the car. She know like gas ain't cheap. Like this girl is playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, you got to deal with it.
I think it's this. I can say this. I think a lot of times in these pseudo relationships, people get scared that shit goes so well that you compatible with a motherfucker. And since you're not in a relationship, there's certain shit that you can't ask of them, and they get concerned about that shit because of a factor that they can't control because of titles and shit. and I think that freaks people out a lot instead of them. But the common sense side is telling them just roll with the flow. The flow is good. The flow is great. But some people always try to they can't help but look down the road and like, well, we can have an accident here.
See, here's the shit. All the relationships are pseudo in college.
Yeah, and that's what this is.
But see, you know, I'm gonna tell you this though, and this is why pride is a motherfucker. Because I mean, you know, some people got more pride than others. But see, low key, him blocking her may do him a favor in the long run. And the reason I say that is this: it's good while the getting's good. But when you mess around, and if that girl get ran by the wrong group, or just you know have some fun with the wrong group of guys, and you was the dude who was like slacking on your macking in her lineup, slipping on your pimping. Those we've seen that before. We've seen that. We've seen how that play out. I saw it in the student center one time. It was an interesting affair. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, you know, my advice: roll with it, big fella. You in school, treat it how she treated shit.
Okay.
But yeah, man, no foreplay.
Yeah,
you know,
foreplay.
We got this episode in and out. We ready? Are we consistent back now, guys? We consistent. We back. We back. I know we said we back before, but believe us this time.
No, you can set your dials. We ain't going nowhere.
Set your dials.
We got a lot of shit coming up.
No foreplay.
Out.
We out.